Hello, I'm Blade BowQuest, and this is going to be a Dark Knight guide. So if you haven't had the ability to get it up to 56 yet, or not even been able to make one, it's been out a couple days, but you know, life hits us all, right? So this will be a quick overview of what the class is like, and then it also goes into the abilities to choose at different levels, the high priority, what your combinations are for AoE grinding, how I and others like me have been able to get 57 in under 24 hours, the best ways to do that, a bunch of alternatives as well if those are too crowded, along with some PvP clips, and just overall, this should be your Dark Knight guide until we have an awakening, or until PvP combos and things get more refined. Either way, guys, what this is basically like is a warrior with a sorceress and ninja moves. This has extremely high mobility moves that are iframes. So invincibility frames that take you pretty far across the battlefield. There are 4 of them, very low cooldown, and they give you back your resources. Instead of mana in this class, you have EP. So you also have a meditate, similar to a warrior, except it meditates back health instead of loses health for willpower, like on a warrior class would. So you can actually get back both resources a little bit slower. You've got your Q block, so it's a permanent block. It's not something you have to hold like a Maywa or something would. Other than that, it has huge burst AoEs that are on very low cooldown. So we're looking at one of the most powerful classes in the game. You know, after Awakening, it might be the top class. I'm not sure yet, but a lot of great stuff. Let me show you a couple of my favorite Dark Knight combos. Yeah, good stuff, right? Except, you know what? He could have used Wheel of Fortune. So let's go into the game. I'll show you guys the Dark Knight. Wait, what is this? Get off the screen. Alright, so you guys probably already made your Dark Knights. So I'm sure you know kind of how it looks, how it moves, all that fun stuff. Let's get right into the abilities that you're going to want to level. So you won't want every single thing that you see here. I was kind of experimenting with a couple of the skills. I've got a link in the description of the video to the skill build that is going to be great for AoE leveling. So I ended up getting level 50 within the first 2 hours, with level 56 within the first about 5.5 hours, and then 57 somewhere around 19 hours. So you can level very quickly. Alright, so anyway, Wheel of Fortune, highest priority ability. So take a look at your skill bars right now. Take mental note of what level you're going to be getting each one of these, and just make sure that you have those skill points available. Soft cap for skill points is 500. You get skill points very quickly before then, so don't worry too much. But just make sure that you're not spending them all on like your passives as soon as you get them. So right there, Wheel of Fortune, top priority and grinding. Right after that, you got Sylvian Slash. So extremely good, high DPS. The only reason this is not a higher priority than this is because the cooldown is about twice as much. Not quite, but we got 6 seconds here, 10 seconds here. Ultimately, Wheel of Fortune is going to be how you start off your packs. Sylvian Slash right after. You can hotkey both of these, but you should not. It's going to save you resources to use the actual commands. So this is going to look like Shift F, and this one is just Shift left mouse button. So got Shift F right there, Shift left mouse button. That's your big DPS, burn down the packs. Also high priority to use pretty much after you just use those abilities would be your Shift Q. This is Corrupting the Ground. It gives you back health, it gives you back EP, which is basically the mana for the Dark Knight. It's also pretty big damage. So this is a much longer cooldown, 22 seconds. So Wheel of Fortune, Sylvian Slash, you got Corrupting the Ground. A lot of your blade slashes, all of these things, repeated annihilation, things like that, these are fillers. They are good. You know, this class just has a lot of really cool stuff. When it comes to grinding your way up, those are the 3 abilities that you want to use, just the ones that I mentioned. Alright, let's talk about some utility stuff in terms of movement and things like that. Number 1, you've got your Dusk. So I'm sure you guys have already messed around with this. This is just your shift and a direction. So kind of reminds me of Mistform actually from Vampire and Elder Scrolls. But what you want to do with this is level it up so that you can get Chain. You want Chain Dusk, that way you can do it twice. Let's get on a flat surface. So just like that, twice in a row. Now the cool thing about this is that this class actually has 4 different teleports. The teleports are also iframes, so you cannot be damaged. They give you huge range, and the cooldown is very, very low. We're looking at 5 seconds on this one. Your other one is Smoky Haze. This is 2 seconds. So what you would do is you would do something along the lines of 2 dusks. You would chain it, and then you would move into Smoky Haze, which I recommend. I got all of them. They're not that many skill points, and it just extends your range, makes you a little bit faster. I think it's pretty good utility. So you go into Smoky Haze forward, and you finish up with forward F. So let me show you what that looks like. So say I want to get along, way over there. What you do, you turn the camera so that you're going to be moving to the right side, which is the direction that you want to go to. You're going to do that twice, then you're just going to go shift forward in that same direction, moving your camera back. So you got right there. Okay, so those are your 3 little teleports. Remember, you've got major mobility. You've also got iframes, so you can do this through battles. So we got 1, 2, 3. Now you follow it up at the end with a forward F. Now that's actually an attack. So if you can hit them with it, all the better. A lot of people will try to actually hold their forward F until they get to a pack and they're fighting. But because the Wheel of Fortune is so good, I honestly use this for utility. So we got right, shift up, and then forward F. So you can see how that works. I rebound my Y to E, and I jump with F9. You don't need to do that. Alright, either way. So those are your four teleports. That's how you can really move all around the battlefield. In a second, I'll actually show you some PvP clips so you can see just how well that works. Moving through the rest of these things, Scarring Slash, nice ability. Once you get the skill points, you can do some of these things to level it up. But in general, it's going to be a filler. Sudden attack, same kind of thing. If you're looking to PvP right off the bat, you definitely want to go through Unveiled Dagger, and then you want to get all the way through Hidden Strike. So this does a couple things. It's going to be just triggered with the F command there, your F special. Hit it twice, that way it goes into both abilities. It is a heal, it is a stun, it's good damage, and overall this is a major PvP move. So definitely want to keep track of that. Yeah, I mean, you got your basic right clicks and things. They're nice, they're fillers, so play around with them as you like. This one right here, this was the 4th ability that I was using, Airstrike. Pretty good. Alright, so you guys understand the utility skills, the movement, all of that good stuff. You've got your big 3 AoEs. You're probably going to want to know how to use your ultimate. A lot of people get confused with this. It was actually one of the most common questions I got. We live streamed it on launch day for about 1,000 people, and this was flooding the chat. How do you use your ultimate? It's not that one, by the way. It's this right here. So it's the Lunacy of Vetter. So it's on the right side. It's right above your Wheel of Fortune, and it has to be quick slotted. People just kept anticipating that if you use something like Shift left click, Shift F, it's probably just going to spend your Black Spirit Rage. It does not with this class. You do need to quick slot it. It is big damage. Really cool ability too. What basically happens is you throw your blade in the air, it disintegrates, and eviscerates everybody in the area. So another one of your big AoEs, obviously you're going to need your Rage Spender when you're grinding. So yeah, those are your pretty high priority abilities. Mostly focused on grinding, right? As you get into PvP, I think it needs to be more heavily refined, but unawakened PvP in general, I think we're all just kind of grinding to get to that awakening. Like I said, you're going to be using Unveiled Dagger a lot, Hidden Strike, things like that. One of the interesting things about this class, actually, is that some of the abilities will apply. Just think of it as like a spirit detonator, right? If you have this Imperious command. This is kind of, it's not really an afterthought, but once you get the major abilities that we were talking about already, go ahead and get this. Some of your abilities will apply damage that will, well, applies damage, but also applies this little bomb. Other abilities then detonate this bomb. It's not the biggest amount of damage, you probably won't notice it that much, but you can actually detonate it remotely by hitting E, I guess, right? Y for me, E for you. And, but you're not going to be doing this too much on itself. You're just going to be using other abilities, and it'll just go into your rotation, you won't even really notice it, but that's just going to be added damage that you'll want to pick up later on down the road. One of the cool things about this class is that it has a meditate. It does not trade your health for your resources, EP. It actually gives you EP and it gives you health. So this is just a standard shift and space. Already full resources, so I can't really show you. But yeah, so if you're distant away from the battlefield, you can use that. It's not worth specking up until maybe way later in skill points, but honestly, just keep in mind that that is your basic version. Of course, you do have your standard block, as any kind of warrior type class would have. That is Q, good stuff. It is a permanent block. It's not something that you'd have to hold and then have disappear. You do have something called Vetter's Dogma, you guys. So this is interesting. This will start spending your resources, your EP, over time, basically. Let's see if we even. I don't even have it on my quick slot, but let's start there real quick. Okay, so there's a little bit of an animation to do this, so doing it in the middle of fights can be kind of rough. Okay, so now we can see it's glowing. What this does is it basically just increases the damage of a lot of your basic moves, and that's fine, I guess, but you're not doing a lot of those basic moves, so don't worry too much about this thing. It's kind of interesting, but that's about it. Okay, now take a look at this. This is your dodge roll, right? It will teleport you unless this is on cooldown, so your shift and a direction. And if it is on cooldown, you will then dodge roll. So dodge rolling is nice, as it is an iframe in PvE. In PvP, it's a good way to die. So if you are PvPing, just click on this, and that will lock it. That way, even though you use a couple of these, it'll just kind of have you walk around instead of dodge rolling. I like keeping the dodge roll just because I'm used to grinding in PvE, and then I don't really mind that. But as you can see, there's just so many teleports with this class. It's absolutely amazing, and you can really kind of zone around the battlefield and get where you want to. So no big surprise here. My pirates group got into a little bit of a skirmish, and you can see some of the abilities that we were talking about before with Smoky Haze, Dusk Chain, Airstrike. Your 4 teleport abilities really allow you to zone around your opponents. They are iframes, they are major mobility moves, and here you can just see I'm showing them. I'm more interested in the grind than them, and eventually we just outlast them in Perseverance. Perseverance takes the day, but you can just kind of see some ways that this can all be used. So last but not least, and when people say that, they never really mean it truly, not least here would be Shift E. This is kind of a really cool AoE ability that basically allows you to aim this this attack here out on the distance. So let me show you. Pretty cool. So not bad. That will actually blow up one of the marks, the Imperious command that your other basic attacks would apply earlier on. It doesn't do a ton of damage. It is nice range, and it is a filler, but it is pretty cool. This will spend your 200% Black Spirit Rage. I've tested this. Really not a lot of damage. I don't think you should do this unless you're planning on just range AoE nuking things, or literally in between your abilities. I did not specifically talk about repeated annihilation, but this should be used in between your first 3 AoEs, right? We talked about the main rotation there, and then you got all of your fillers. Well, if you don't have your ultimate, things like that, your shift right click with repeated annihilation is generally how you would fill that space. But with everything just so low cooldowns, you almost don't need it. So you're already back to Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so you guys got your template. We know the high priority abilities to get for AoE grinding. We know how to zone, all sorts of good things. Let's go over the actual leveling process. So the gear I ended up using, not the best, but it'll get the job done. I did go ahead and make an ultimate. You're a Kriegmesser, chest plates, nothing major, gave me that 5% accuracy. And the helm has 2 XP gems. So the rest is just my warrior gear. This thing I got for free. Just, I think leveling other classes to 56, you guys were able to get those secondary magical boxes. Some of you probably still have them in your mail. You can collect them. It'll save you making a plus 15 weapon, unless it is your main and you're going for boss gear. Either way, so that's the gear that I used. When I ended up leveling, I went from, I think I mentioned earlier, 1 to 50 was about 2 hours for me. So I did run through my quest just so this thing could enchant. Up to Eden area. Came down, Scarecrows was my big priority area for, I think, like, I don't know, 12 or something, up to around 20. These are just ballpark areas. Yeah, I didn't have it down to an exact science here, but got a couple more levels over at Castle Ruins. I think I left there at level 21. Came over, killed Fogans and Nagas for about 1 level. Went over to Bloody Monastery from around 23 to, I think, about 28. Did Red Orcs, 28 to like 30. Ran over here to Karudo Cave, 30 to 34 here. Went to Consecrated Lands. Now, this area has, man, these things, they do not like to move. I did stay here only for 2 levels, just because I wanted to get to 36 before I hit Chimeras. An alternative would be the Owls. So if you got some high AP, you got accuracy, Owls would be fine as well. So the thing with leveling is, you know, honestly, as long as you're staying within red areas and you can hit them because you got some kind of accuracy, either an accuracy offhand, you got accuracy elixirs or accuracy furniture buffs, things like that. I mean, not that many people have them, but if you do, then you can definitely shoot for the moon and maybe start off at catfish right away, things like that. You know, you've got this Keplin mine. That's another decent alternative if Chimeras are filled. I went with Chimeras though. I really like this grind spot. I think it's my favorite. So I went here from 36 to 43. Level 40 to 43 at Chimeras, I think, took about 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. It was incredibly fast. 43, my weapon broke. Had to go back to Keplin and just decided catfish would be great. Stayed there. 43 to 45. They did change something with leveling so that now it's not go over to the relic area and then kill some Twilight reject or whatever. Now it's just talk to your Black Spirit, get a giant catfish, kill that, and then you're good. So that's nice. Immediately after that, I jumped on my Furious Sailboat up to Pirates. Now my AP being 200, even at level 50, I was able to solo packs. It did not take that long. They were dying very quickly. So I was able to pull my weight, jumped into a group, and there 50 to 51 was about 10 minutes. 51 to 52, you know, maybe 20 minutes, no big deal at all. And at 53 plus, I was absolutely well within strong pirate slaying ability. So if you have high AP like that, you can pull your weight and get into a group right away. If you want the fastest leveling after 50, it's pretty much rely on group mates, go out here to the desert, teleport, get into an Akhman group. As long as your teammates are high 230s, 240, 250 AP, you've got 4 of them willing to carry you when you basically do nothing to help them, that's going to be faster leveling. But I did not go with that route. So yeah, 50 to 57 was Pirates. If you're AP, if you find yourself around 120 and you don't think you can really carry your weight in Pirates, Sazens, of course, 50 to 56, good alternatives until you're at least level 56, or you found a way to get your AP a little bit over 150, and you want to come back over here. Alright, good stuff. Well, guys, good luck.